Yo, Gordon, what's up, man? I gotta tell you, man, Gordon is one of my favorite drummers, one of my favorite people. I met him early on, around the time he first came to Los Angeles, and we've been friends ever since. He's never changed. That's that DC thing. Anyway, I'm proud to say that Gordon is playing on my record. He's one of five drummers featured on the song I wrote called Get On This. It's Gorden Campbell, Little John Roberts, Sonny Emery, and Harvey Mason. And hopefully you guys will hear it soon. Gordon killed it. I asked Gordon to do it. He didn't hesitate. He's like, what you need, bro? I got you. So that's how we've always been. I love him. I respect his artistry. His record is a killer. I listened to that record over and over and over. It was on repeat for about 3 weeks straight. Anyway, love you, Gordon. Keep up the good work, bro.
Well, welcome back. Welcome back to the Extraordinary Drummer Show. As you know, I'm your host, Sharon Moore. Yeah. As you know, I'm your host, Sharon Moore. You know, I always say today. Well, yeah, got him back on the show. One of the first guys to come on the show back in the day when I originally did the show, this was one of those friends that said yes.
Yeah.
Back in the day that says yes. And when I call him, he say, where you at?
Yeah.
Don't give me a long spiel or anything. Just say yes and where you at.
Yeah.
You all know him.
Yeah.
You know, he's a producer. Of course, he's a musician. He's a songwriter. He's an artist. We're going to talk later on about his album. He's well loved. He's been around a long time. I'm counting about 4 generations, and we're going to talk about that. I'm counting about 4 generations. So some of his credits include, as you know, George Duke, Earth, Wind, and Fire. We're going to talk about that. Mary J. Blige, Beyonce, Jessica Simpson, and so many more. I just call him a drummer's drummer. Will you help me welcome my guest today, Gorden Campbell? Hey, Gorden.
What up?
Hey, brother. Welcome to the Extraordinary Drummer Show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
I should say welcome back.
There you go. Yes, sir.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing really good. Just had some late breakfast. So now I'm back at the studio about to record some music in a minute, once we're done. So just get my
I know it's going to be hot. We're going to talk about your producing. We're going to talk about your album a little later on, but I want to cover something starting off.
All right.
Most people don't know that they're saying and spelling your name wrong.
I know. Unfortunately.
How have you dealt with that over the years? And tell them the pronounced way to say it and spell it.
Well, it's Gordon, and it's Gorden, not On. So my dad, I had the same name as my dad. His name spelled the same way. So where they got it from, I don't know. He's from North Carolina, so it could have been some country stuff. I don't know, but they gave him an E instead of an O. So that's why mine is like it is.
Yeah. I'll be
Yeah.
sure to spell it right here.
Yes. As
You
long as I
originally
can cash my check, I'm good. Because I cashed a lot of checks with an O in it, and they ain't say nothing. So I'm
boy.
good.
You're originally from New York?
Yeah, Newburgh, New York. Yep.
No,
Upstate.
where is that at?
It's upstate. It's like 60 miles north of Manhattan. So not far. So I'm kind of in and out of the city. Every couple of weeks I was there. A lot of family in Brooklyn and Queens and Yonkers. And so I'm from upstate, but we spend a lot of time in the city.
Tell me, Gordon, how did you get started playing drums and what age were you?
Well, they tell me I was 5. I don't remember. They got a picture of me with a toy drum set on Christmas, like in front of the Christmas tree. They told me I was 5, so that's as far as I can remember back. I just always remember playing. Then I started playing, and my grandfather was a pastor, my mom's dad. So I just started, in the beginning, they would only let me play because, of course, it was older guys that was playing. But when the youth choir would sing, which they sang one song every Sunday, they would let me play for the kids choir. And that's my start. And then at some point, the older guys stopped coming. to church. You know, they became teenagers or whatever, stopped coming to church, and then I just was by default the drummer at the church.
Gordon, what was it like coming up through high school as a drummer? I saw when you did some of that marching drumming somewhere.
Oh yeah, I marched high school and college. Um, it was cool. I mean, for me, because I just like music. I love music. I was in everything music. I was in chorus. I was singing in chorus. I was in boys' glee. I taught the gospel choir, so that's where I started writing songs. I mean, we would do all the newest gospel, you know, but I was a pianist and I taught. I actually like taught all the vocals, all the parts, all of that. So that's where my probably um, my vocal and other musical outside of playing drums came in. So yeah, and I was in a concert band, jazz band, anything connected to music that would keep me out of another class, I was in it. If I was singing, playing, or playing piano or teaching vocals, whatever, you know, I was in it.
What did you do over there when you went to college over there at Howard University?
Same thing. I was in, well, I was on a marching band scholarship, believe it or not. They didn't give me, because actually Howard is a big jazz school, like straight ahead traditional jazz. And I never swung a day in my life. Like I didn't even know really what that was. The jazz that I listened to, mainly because I came up in a church household, we listened to mostly gospel. But then I had a cousin who was a professional drummer, Al Boson, in the city in New York. He played with a gospel artist named Timothy Wright. I used to go to his house, and he always had like Billy Cobham albums, Chick Corea. So I would just copy whatever records he had. I would just buy them.
Gorden Campbell. When he first came to town, I knew I was in trouble. There was young lions coming in and just kicking butt. I think I first heard him with George Duke. Not quite sure, but anyways, he was taking no prisoners. It's amazing what the drumming world has produced. I'm thankful that I am a musician and that drums represent what I do. And Gorden Campbell, one of the best. Second to none, actually. There you go.
Let me ask you this one. How many years you got in the game now, Gordon?
Well, for me touring wise in LA, 31. I got here in 1993. Yeah.
Gordon, do you realize you changed the game?
No. In what way? I don't know. Hey, fill me in.
I got a little bit of background here, so you'll see me go in and out on mute. You changed the game where you were one of Darryl Wolfer and a few other guys. You were some of the first guys to put that fusion stuff in R&B and in gospel. That was even after Joel and all them guys. You guys started mixing that stuff up, and it was clean and it still fit. People wasn't turning around giving that look.
Right.
You guys changed the game.
I'm Corny Mims, and Gorden Campbell is my guy. Let me tell you something. We have rocked many a stage. We have rocked many a studio over many years. And when it's Corny Mims and Gorden Campbell, it's magic. Hey, I love that brother. Hey, Gordon, let's do it again soon, bro. You know what we do. That's it.
Gordon, let's move down the road a little bit. Let's do a little, we've been talking drums, but let's do a little drum talk now. Section I call drum talk. What do you look for in a bass player, Gordon?
Number one, good time. Like, time is all we got. Drums and bass, your time got to be together.
Yo, this is Raymond Calhoun. I want to shout out to my buddy Gorden Campbell. Bad cat, you know. Known Gordon for a while now. One of the best players, bro. Y'all better check him out. Just played with everybody. George Duke, in Vogue, you name it. But big ups to my boy for doing the interview on Gordon. He's also my neighbor. Lives around the corner from me. I ain't never been over his house. He ain't never been on mine, but I know he live around there. I'm gonna find you one day, bro. But anyway, big ups to Gorden, badass cat. Keep it doing, bro.
Gordon, tell me, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun. I've asked a couple. Well, I asked Eric this question too. But Gordon, tell me a few bad things that's happened back there on the drum kit. You didn't bring your stick bag. Your tom-tom legs fell apart. So, tell me some of the bad situations, some of the funny, some of the bad things that has happened over the years of you up on the riser.
I fell off a riser once. Yeah, that wasn't cool. I landed on my feet, but the riser was super high that day for whatever reason. And you know, a lot of times the risers aren't big enough for drummers. And I forgot when I went to step back, and it was some gig that Boney James did in Burbank. I don't know, because I never really played with Boney James except for that one time. It might have been like a house band. I don't know. Either way, give it up on drums, Gorden Campbell, and I stand up. And when I stepped back to sit down, there was nothing behind me but air. So it's like while they're clapping for me, everybody's looking at me. Yeah, that wasn't good. Having to pee really bad one time with American Idol. Oh, that was ugh. On American Idol tour. Yeah, as soon as we hit that first song, I was like, I gotta pee. And the drums can't stop because the show don't stop, and the drums play, you know. So I just had to. I told my drum tech, go get a big cup, like a big gulp or something, because I might have to pee like in between my legs while I'm sitting on the drum set. And I was able to just will it out of my head, like just forget about it and just play. And I was able to make it through. So yeah, that's some of the crazy stuff that's happened.
Gordon, I know you don't want me to use that one on the show.
It's the truth. Hey man, I'm transparent. What happened? It happened. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that had to go pee as soon as they sat down.
Let's get down the road a little bit further. Before I get the credits, let's talk a little bit about endorsement, staying on Drum Talk endorsement. What are you playing? Drums, snare, head, sticks, so forth, cymbals, so forth.
Drums, Yamaha, cymbals, Zildjian, heads, Remo, sticks, Vic Firth, and also endorse drum dots, the muffling dots.
Hello, my name is Chris Hart. I'm the marketing communications manager for Remo Incorporated. Gorden Campbell is an amazing human being and drummer. I've been knowing Gorden for a very long time. I remember when we signed him on board with Remo. I was so excited for him to come on board because so many people was singing his praises about him. And then when I got a chance to actually hear him play, it was just like freaking phenomenal. So I was extremely happy that we got Gorden to come on board with Remo Inc. But there's so many accolades we should talk about Gorden and the things he's done, how he's trying to reach out and help people and everything. He's just an incredible human being, more so than being, just incredible drummer. So thank you for asking me to say something about Gorden. He's an incredible guy. I love that guy to death. I love what he's doing. And I hope this helps. And this is my, special message to Gorden. I want to go back to that place you took me for those smoothies. I still can't forget about that. So keep that in mind. Love you, Gorden. Hope all is well. Sharon, I hope this is okay with you. And let's talk soon. Gorden, congratulations on everything. All accolades should be bestowed to you. And we all should take heed of all the fantastic things that you have done in the music industry. Thank you, bro. Love you.
Let's talk a little bit about your credits, man. Your credits reads like the who's who of the music industry. How'd you get that gig with Earth, Wind, and Fire?
Robert Brookins. And I tell people this all the time. A lot of the gigs I got came from playing at clubs in LA. You know, when people go, and not as much now with social media, but before social media, people go, do I need to move to LA or New York to get a gig? I'm like, well, that's where most of the gigs originate, and that's where most of the musical directors and artists are. So you would want to be in that community. You want them to already know your name. But a lot of gigs I got, somebody saw me at a club in LA and was like, can you do this? So with Earth, Wind, and Fire, Robert Brookins used to come. I used to play with Cornelius Mims and Don Wyatt and Ricky Rouse. We used to do, you probably know Roland Wirt or knew Roland Wirt. Rest in peace. He used to do all the party promoter. Well, Corny and them had a band called Clueless, and I became the drummer. And we used to do this spot on La Cienega, and Robert Brookins would come every week. Every Wednesday, he'd come sit in with us, and he was best friends with Philip Bailey. So he told Philip about me from seeing me at that club, from sitting in with us. He's like, man, this bad young guy, man, young cat. And so I started touring with Philip first. Derek Organ was the drummer with Philip. And then he left. I don't know what happened. I think he got another gig. You know, he always had the big gigs. So he stopped doing Philip. And I did Philip's gig for maybe 2 or 3 years.
Amongst many of your other credits, Mary J. Blige, Jessica Simpson, Beyonce, you're now working with En Vogue.
Yeah, En Vogue. I do a bunch of different stuff, but that's one of the steady ones. The last year or two I've been doing. I do jazz, funk, soul every once in a while. That's a band with Jeff Lorber, Paul Jackson, and Everett Harp. Paul Jackson Jr. and Everett Harp. So I do that off and on. And then a lot of smooth jazz, Rick Braun. And I do a lot of records. A lot of people send me stuff because they know I have a studio. So, yeah, a little bit of everything.
Gordon, we do a thing on the show we call Word of Advice, where I ask the guests, I ask the drummers if they will leave a word of advice for the up-and-coming drummers, guys that are trying to get traction in this game, even the next guys at the next level. But that, would you leave them a word of advice?
Yeah, it's so many things that I've learned over the years. Really know your craft, like know your craft and know the history of your craft, because it comes out in your playing. Know who played on what records, know what they played. Like we were so into it. You can call out, like if you take Chris Dave, for example, you can call out any record and he'll tell you what the drummer played, from Chick Corea to Wynton Marsalis with Tane on the drums or something with Elvin. Like we just really study music so much and we love it so much that we know we have a broad vocabulary. So know history, like really work on your chops and have your music together. And then just have your business side together and just be a nice guy. Stay humble. Because all that stuff comes back to bite you in the butt if you don't stay humble, if you're not on time, if you're not professional, and you don't, really take it seriously, I think that would be it.
Well, let's talk about the album, Conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about it. And then you got another one coming after that, right?
Yeah. It's just a live version of that. It's called Conversations Live. It's a video too, on like a la Snarky Puppy type, with each song, with the audience at a studio and the whole nine. So that's being worked on as we speak. It's almost done. But the original album, it's called Conversations, came out on Rope-A-Dope. I got a bunch of people on there. Like when I did it, I didn't really want to be an artist at first. People were like, you should be an artist. Terrence Martin, one of the main ones. He was like, yo, I'll hook you up with the guy at the label. He'll sign you. Like Terrence Martin was really, every time he saw me, which is like once every couple of years, like, man, you need to do an album. So when I sat down, I was like, well, what do I want to do, like style-wise? Because I like so many different styles. I just start writing songs. And then each song, I was like, oh, man, Sheila E. would sound good on this. I'm going to call Sheila. Paul Jackson Jr. would sound good on this. Or PJ Morton would be dope if he would sing on this. And I have relationships with all these different artists from either being around or actually touring with them. And everybody I called, pretty much, with exception of one or two, was able to do it, and they got on the record. So it's like P.J. Morton, B.J. Chicago Kid, B. Slade, Oscar Cartaya, Eddie Brown, Eric Walls, J-Mo, Lil Chris played on one song, Lil Chris Payton, Paul Jackson Jr., Sheila E., Sarah Reich, the tap dancer, even got on the song. My daughter's on the song. T.J. Wilkins. There's so many people like that I just have relationships with. When I ask them, and it's called Kamasi is on there. Kamasi, Terrace Martin's on there. Alex Isley's on there. Peter Collins, another beast. Eric Dawkins, Angie Fisher, like so many different people that I admire. As I was writing these songs, writing the music, I could hear who I wanted to sing on it. If it was a vocal song, I'm like, oh yeah, they would be perfect. And I just called them like, hey, I'm working on a project. Would you, Matter of fact, BJ, the Chicago Kid, when I started talking, he cut me off. I was like, yo, I'm about to work on. He's like, whatever you're working on, I'm down. Like, just let me know. And he lives in North Hollywood. I'll just come through. Just hit me. And I didn't hit him for probably a good year after that. And every time I see him, like, bro, you ain't call me. Like, he was on me. Like, so that's how the album came out. It's called Conversations. Some of the interludes are me actually having conversations with people like Kamasi. I did an interlude with Harvey Mason Sr., and he was telling me how he used to make his records back in the day and working with Quincy Jones and all that. So it's just the whole album is just a conversation, basically.
Gordon, here's a question I usually ask the guests at the end of the show. Gordon, what do you want your legacy to be said, to be told?
And that's funny because a lot of times we rarely think about it. And definitely me, probably because I'm a type of person. Well, the older I get now, the more I think about it. But I was the type of person that just worked. Like, even when I moved to LA, my family's all in New York. I only got one or two cousins out here. And they were like, you're not scared being out there by yourself? And it was like, I never even thought about it. I just do. I just go. So the same thing playing wise, I just work. I just put my head down and whoever calls, if I want to do it, if I can do it, then I do it. But now, I would say, number one, great person. That's it. That's really it. Didn't mind giving, didn't mind paying it forward, giving back the information that I learned. Great musician, great artist, great producer. Just an all-around great person. And then of course I want to leave a financial legacy for my daughter. I have one daughter. So I'm trying to leave that to some other businesses outside of music that I'm working on right now. So leave a legacy for my family, financially and wealth-wise, and have that part set up. But musically, just that I gave back. And even now, I talk to a lot of guys, and they're like, you got me my first gig when I came to LA. I don't even remember. I just try to refer people, So I think that's going to be part of my legacy, too. I always turn people on to gigs. But that's what somebody did for me. They would turn me on to gigs. So just paying it forward.
One, that's the guy I've always known you to be, a giver. Humble, soft-spoken, kill it on the gig, walk away. No chest out, none of that stuff. I've never seen that from you.
There's no room for that. And I know this is a gift from God. It's not me. I mean, now I put the work in and I practice, so I know that I'm good and solid at what I do. But I also know that it's a gift that could be taken away. And then I have friends that are killers. So I ain't going to have my chest out hanging around the guys I hang around with. I'm like, bruh, every time I see them play, I'm like, all right, I got to go back to the shed, starting from ground zero. So, yeah, just understanding the whole game and life in general. There's no way you could be arrogant because none of this came by ourselves.
What does the future look like? What do you got coming up other than the albums? What's the future look like? What are some of the things you want to, if you wanted to speak on, entrepreneur wise or so forth? Anything that we should look for?
So musically, my goals are long term and short term. I would say by next year, I'm putting this new album out, which is videos. It's gonna be an album too, but it's also gonna be videos. How like Snarky puts them out each video is a different song, but from the same night. I want my band to tour. I want to hit all the festivals At this point, it's going to be next year. So that's one of my goals, is to get that music. The other goal is, because I'm a producer, I want that my artistry to open the doors for me to produce some bigger records. 'Cause I've been producing stuff here and there, but never nothing super huge where people just know me as a producer or a songwriter. So that's another goal that I have, for all that to open up the doors for me to be in here producing, and working with major artists on major products, stuff like that. So, and then I always wanted to own a couple businesses. I always thought about like laundromats, just different things like that. I just want to own, and I definitely have always thought about real estate too, buying some more houses in LA or wherever, and having a real estate situation set up.
Love it, love it, love it.
Yeah.
Gorden, let me say thank you so very much for coming back to the
Yes, sir.
Extraordinary Drummer Show.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, man. Always a pleasure.
I think I'm going to be able to do this with you, Lord willing, 10, 15 more years from now. I'm actually that
10
same
years,
question.
we'll
How
still
is
be
it
here.
relevant?
Talking about my eighth or ninth album. Yeah.
Gorden, would you help me wave goodbye to all the
All right.
fans?
Deuces. See ya.
Thank you, Gorden.
Yep. Thanks for having me, man.
Yes, sir.